Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Why am I so angry? Advice. I 36 meters, am coming up on 2 years since my WS-42F started her affair. In the immediate discovery of her affair, we both made all kinds of mistakes and caused each other more trauma than necessary. Recently, last 12 months or so, she's been doing everything right. Her attitude is different, she checks in, she calls, she plans family outings and then just couples outings. She isn't angry all the time, her approach to disagreements is to try and see my side before she reacts. If I'm being honest with myself, she is doing everything right, now anyway. I still however find myself mad to the point of telling myself that I hate her throughout the day. Where I used to brag to my co-workers about how awesome my wife was, now I never mention her to anyone, and when a thought pops into my head that's positive about her throughout the day, I can't shake the voice in my head that says I hate that underscore. I am worried that this self-talk is affecting our recovery, but I don't know how to silence it. When I drive past the place that she worked during the affair, her affair was with her boss, I can't help but get filled with rage. For a period we were doing really well with our recovery. We were getting back on track. But recently this anger is really affecting me. I'm mad at myself for begging her to stay with me after discovering her affair. Even typing it now makes me feel like less of a man. I'm angry that I was able to be so affected by another human. I'm angry that the one person that I trusted more than anyone else on this plate betrayed me. And I'm angry that I have lost faith in humanity as a whole. I desperately need help with this anger and with what I am feeling. I'm almost 2 years post D-Day, and I can say that I have literally thought about her affair every single day since discovery. Please help. Married for 10 years, together for 16 years. Have 2 children together. WS42 FBS 36M. Does she know how angry you are? She should have to shoulder some of the burden since she caused this. She should know you think about it every day and help you deal with that, if you are choosing to stay with her. It does suck when you realize you've done the pick-me dance and you wish you had known better at the time. But you know better now, and even 2 years out, your feelings are completely normal and reasonable. She should be doing more of the work to fix the relationship in this recovery that you've gifted her, and you focus on working on you. No, she doesn't know that I think of her affair every day. I don't know how to tell her, or what to tell her for that matter. When it affects my mood, I try to be upfront and forthright about it, but aside from that I suffer in silence. The part that pisses me off the most about the me working on me part is that I was perfectly fine before all of this. I didn't have anger, or self-esteem, or confidence issues. That's all a result of the trauma caused by this incident. I understand. That's not fair and it sucks. You should tell her though. Just come right out and say it. If she is truly wanting to reconcile, she can find a way to be supportive and do what you tell her you need her to do. If she can't, or she blames you or doesn't want that burden, is she truly reconciling? I'm sorry. The thing is, I'm mad at the past mostly. I can't change it, and no matter how much I dwell on it, I can't undo things that have already been done. The only thing that she's doing in the present that makes me mad is being a good spouse. It's a weird conundrum because I'm mad that she's doing things so right because it makes me feel irrational for being mad at her. It sounds like you need to be doing your part now. If you can't forgive her, you need to let her go now, but your part in this reconciliation is handling exactly what you're dealing with. I still think you should tell her. Even if she's perfect now, she created this issue and gave you these insecurities. Did she work on herself to find out how she allowed herself to betray you? She should deal with your struggles right along with you, as well as dealing with hers. If you want her help, you have to tell her what's going on with you. If it's too painful to really move through it all, it may be best to move on. You can give it more time before you make that decision if you want, But you have to tell her what you're going through so it's all out in the open and you can really make the best choice. I'm really sorry. It took her 1 year before to be this perfect wife. Maybe you subconsciously realize you are her plan B. I understand this. I was a wife that constantly talked about how fucking amazing of a man I married. I used to praise him on social media. I loved it when people told me how awesome he was as a husband and father. I thought I'd won the lottery or something. I had a terrible childhood, just awful. I thought I'd finally had the family I never had. I thought he was the most special and amazing person in the world, for 15 years. Boy was I stupid and naive. That's the thing, his infidelity made my life a lie too. I felt and feel stupid. I feel ashamed. I feel like I invested so much into something that wasn't really there. So yeah, I'm angry about it. I stayed in my marriage and around 3 years after D-Day it really started to settle in. The resentment, the anger, sometimes just blind rage. I don't have much advice, I suffer in silence too and I don't know how to unburden it. Even if / when we divorce, I'm still gonna be angry about what happened to me. I'm here for you. 2 weeks from D-Day year anniversary, disappointed face. What do you want from this relationship? What are the positive things that it brings into your life? Can you name them, at least in your head? Is there anything particularly unique about them, or do you think that potentially other loving, caring people could do those things for you? Imagine that you will continue feeling the way you feel now for the rest of your life. Would you still want to stay in this relationship? The thing with affairs is that they don't happen in a vacuum. They happen right in the middle of your life. Which means they get intertwined with all the things in your life. All the good things that you loved about her or the relationship with her now come with affair and betrayal and lies and visual memories attached to them in one way or another. And you might not be able to separate them. Which means that at some point you will have to decide whether it's worth keeping all the good considering all the bad attached to it. Sorry for the analogy, but it's like somebody took a shit in your car. Right in the middle of the driver's seat. And you love your car. It's a great car. New, runs perfectly, good mileage. And you tried using all kinds of cleaners. But still every time you sit in it you get that smell. And you have to wash your pants every day because there is always a smelly stain on them after a long drive. If it's a hot day it gets even worse. What do? Get used to the smell or just get rid of it? You made the single biggest mistake a lot of BS make. You rushed into reconciling and never got the time to really think it over. So you repressed it and now it is rushing to the surface and you are overwhelmed. While no one can tell you what to do, you should know that there is no time limit to your grief. You cannot just will your way through it, the passing of it must happen naturally. Will it happen? Who knows, but I think you have a good shot of pulling through and being happy again. I agree with you. It really does feel like a bit of a rug sweep occurred here. I made a mistake but have been a great spouse for 2 years, so what is there to talk about? Well, first, it feels like they ran to step 2 without addressing step 1. Same boat here. Anger. She knows I'm angry but doesn't compute it well since there was no real evidence for me to go by. Like you, I see certain places, people etc. and I go mad. I too am going into year 2. Yup, I lost faith in all humanity too. Only thing keeping afloat are my kids. I've tried returning to church and being who I used to be. It's helping. But the anger and disappointment often wins. I'm taking it one day at a time. I guess that's all the choice we have. Lean on me. I'll lean on you. Keep talking and letting the feelings flow. Don't bottle it up. I know exactly how you feel. God bless and have a great weekend. Cheating and the trauma afterwards. Worse than war trauma. Rant. I'll start by saying that my wife had an affair with her boss at work 3 years ago. I remember the day down to the second when I found out what was happening. With that said, I will also add that I am a combat veteran with 19 years of service and 6+ years in combat zones. The trauma from war pales in comparison to dealing with my wife's affair. I was prepared, somewhat, for war. I went through it with friends. I knew that no matter how bad things got, I'd either be dead or I'd have people there to go through the suck with me. Even once I got back, talking about my experiences to friends or therapists is no issue. Dealing with my wife's affair has been about as opposite of that as things can get. It has been completely isolating. I can't talk about it with family or friends. For one, they'd wonder why I'm still with her and how someone who is so outwardly strong and successful as I am would stick around after her affair. Next is the fact that it's completely emasculating. The entire experience made me feel lower than whale dung at the bottom of the ocean. Next is that I'm just sad all the time now. The person who was my rock for so long, the person that I trusted with my deepest, darkest secrets, the person that was the stability that I needed to be successful and honestly to stay alive in combat, deceived me. Not just deceived me, but betrayed my trust in the worst possible way imaginable. In the past, when I was at my lowest points in life, my confidant was my wife. Now, she is the person that has caused me to be at my lowest point, and she is the person I want to talk to. But I can't. Because she is the one that caused this to begin with. I know I'm just ranting now, but I'd spend the rest of my life in combat to not have to deal with the torture of my wife cheating. I can unequivocally say that this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me in my life. I know I should just get over it and move on, but I don't know how. I'm not a crier, but I lay awake at nights with tears rolling down my face, and there's no one I can tell. No one I can talk to. It's honestly a miserable existence. I'm sorry. We have been there. This is a place where you can talk. I hated the fact I couldn't go to my wife with the pain as well. It's such a mind duck. The support person being the cause. Finding this sup has been life-changing for me. I also felt like I had no one to talk to. At least here people understand. We absolutely believe how bad this hurts and all the life-changing complexity that comes with that pain. I'm not really a crier either. When I found out, I cried and made horrible sounds I've never heard from myself or anyone before. After all this time, I don't really cry anymore about anything and probably never will. Hang in there, brother, and thank you for your service. Had no one to talk to. At least here people understand. We absolutely believe how bad this hurts and all the life changy. Yay. It has numbed me in a way I didn't know was possible. Maybe this is a transition that everyone goes through in life. I don't know. I just know I was a lot happier and able to actually have feelings before. You remind me of this quote from a TV series called The Flower of Evil. I've come to believe that the pain we're experiencing right now is just a step we need to go through to accept more things later on in life. However, you can choose what to accept. I know the kind of happiness I would have had staying with the cheater is very different from the happiness I'd have without him. Definitely a numbing experience. Like others have said, you're not alone and we're here for you. Situations like this can become very isolating. Please talk to us, and talk to a counselor. Go to therapy. It might not feel all the less painful, but it's much better than becoming isolated. Frown. Now, not everyone. But this is a part of some lives with this kind of pain. You aren't alone. I thought I'd never cry again too, but like 6 years later all of a sudden it was like a dam burst, and now I can't stop crying over the dumbest stuff. No idea why the flip, but I don't love it. Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that. I suppose if my repressed pain bubbles up, that this very well could happen. Or maybe I'll turn into that angry old man at the grocery store who goes into a rage because they are out of baggies by the strawberries and I have to walk over to the celery to get a bag. I don't know. I hope not. I definitely never realized how deep and painful an emotional trauma could be until this happened. In a way, I'm glad for all the years I lived carefree, and in a different way I feel like I woke up to the reality that has always been around me. I think I'm wiser now, not just with marriage but all relationships and business-related decisions. I'm definitely stronger. Gotta focus on the good where we can. I hope you feel better soon. I hope you do too, and I actually did cry in the grocery store the other day because I really wanted kale and they didn't have any. I don't mean like, full-on crying, but that pricking behind your eyelids that's a warning you better get your shit together. I'm officially broken, I think. Damn bro, you just gotta get out of there. Start a new life far away. Brother to brother. Doesn't sound like you being in the relationship is doing any good for anyone at this point. Cut your losses. Best of luck. 3 tours here. I was a fobbit, so no street cred. Although I did get yelled at when I got in an MRAP during a combined bead ground attack. Long story. You do need to talk with somebody. Unit chaplain, fellow members of your unit with whom you were deployed, somebody. I'd wager you're not the only one going through this, although they might be silent about it as well, or not want to know. You should also speak to a non-military lawyer regarding your rights vis-à-vis divorce and a postnuptial agreement if you remain together. There is no harm in individual counseling. TRICARE might cover that, I don't know. Now, this is going to seem harsh, but you need to hear this. Apologies in advance. Never discount the possibility that this was not her only affair. 1A, cheaters only admit to what they think you know. This is known as trickle truth. 2, paternity test your kids. If you have any. I'm not trying to plant seeds, but you need to be sure. 3, marriage counseling. Be forewarned, you may find out more than you wish. Good luck fellow soldiers. Keep us posted. Truth is truth and I appreciate you for it. As far as this being her only affair, I don't know. Looking back it's very likely that she cheated when I was deployed. With that said, there were no indications that she cheated like there were this time. I've thought about this as well. On one hand, I doubt she'll just come out and admit it if it did happen. Not without any evidence. Also, I don't know what good there is in me searching and finding out. I guess I want to look forward and to make sure it doesn't happen again. If it does happen again, well then our relationship is done. As far as our kids, I'm certain they are mine. Just typed the below elsewhere, so just pasting here. I did counseling when I first found out. But that's it. I tried 2 different counselors and they were both very religious, of which I am not, so their approach and their recommendations about prayer didn't work for me. 2, I don't want to admit to my wife that this is still an issue. Don't want her to know how damaged I am and how much pain I am still in 3 years later. Before the affair I would have told her that I had an issue that I needed help with and that I thought I needed counseling. Now, I can't trust her with something so deep and personal. I'm going to give you the same advice I give other people on this forum in your situation. Again, this will be tough to read. I'm very Machiavellian. Furthermore, my concern is for a fellow soldier, not a cheating spouse. Taking her back once you found out validates her behavior. If you are truly committed to reconciliation, then you need to rock up and talk to a lawyer. I might be dating myself with that term. 2A, talk to a civilian lawyer, not JAG, who specializes in this area. You will want a postnuptial agreement. 2B, in essence, this document, that she will sign, states, that if you ever have evidence of her cheating, either in the past or future, she leaves the marriage with nothing, to include forfeiting her right to your retirement and other military benefits. 2C, if she balks at this, then you have your answer about past indiscretions, or potential future indiscretions. Or hell, current infidelities. Speaking of which, I got on a couple of dating sites while I'm at Bragg. So many women were separated. I asked my buddy, retired E8, and he said, yeah, they're separated while their husbands are deployed. 3, DNA test your kids. You were sure your spouse was your rock, so no offense, but nothing is certain at this point. 3A, mention to the kids, in front of your spouse, you want to do an Ancestry 21 or WTF ever they're called so they can know their history. 3b, watch her expression, again, apologies, Machiavellian. 3b, also, later on, she may try to talk you out of this. Again, you have your answer. 4, individual counseling. For you. Nothing wrong with this. We can't have leaders who are having major life trauma making decisions. 4a, find the right counselor for you. Also remember 2 things. 4i, the person who graduates last in their class from medical school is still called doctor. 4a, I'm of the firm belief that people go into the mental health profession because they are in dire need of their own services. I apologize, again, for the nature and length of my post. To reiterate, my concern is for a fellow soldier who had the rug pulled out from under him, not their cheating spouse. Thanks for your service. Same boat, but much recent, this past weekend, still numb. I agree this sub has been great to know I can at least type it out and read some responses. I don't know the solution or how it ends, but I'm staying strong for the kids. I have seen your case, it is truly strong and serious. I believe that the fact of keeping your wife at home is putting the physical and mental safety of your children at risk. People who take drugs and a lot of alcohol are very dangerous, and I would tell you, if you still have sex with her, you should go to the doctor. Really, you have not realized the seriousness of your situation. Good luck. Your kids need someone to take the high road. They need someone to be an adult. Not sure if the right thing is to stay or to leave, but make sure you prioritize your kids. With it happening so recently, you're probably still in shock. Take some time to gather your thoughts. Don't make any major decisions right now, including whether to leave or stay. Are you sure that you are taking the high road? Because kids can sense when parents are miserable and off. And we carry the scars. I know this because I was raised in a similar household. But my mother was you. It has ruined my idea of relationships and created a fear of marriage. I put up walls with everyone. I hope you get your kids into therapy. I agree wholeheartedly about the trauma. I've been reading a lot on sexual deception and betrayal, and that seems to help. Finding groups like this one and others. It's not helpful when people tell you to just leave or get over it, or we tell ourselves, because it's just not that simple. When was D-Day? It seems to take forever to go through this. D-Day was 6 months ago for me. I've lost weight due to no appetite, and I swear I've aged 10 years from the intense and persistent stress. As hard as it is, cry, do it. Allow yourself to trudge through these horrid trenches. It will get better if you can allow yourself to be in the shit. The only way out is through, and I really believe that. Having our closest confidant and friend lie and betray us hits and impacts every level of our lives: emotional, physical, financial, spiritual, interpersonal. It. Some people choose to leave, some choose to reconcile. No one, and I mean no one, can make that decision but you. It sucks and it's hell, but you're not alone and you're not crazy. This is psychological trauma. Be as kind to yourself and your needs as you can. Irritual, interpersonal. It. Some people choose to leave, some choose to reconcile. No one, and I mean no one, can make that decision but you. It sucks and it's hell, but you're not alone and you're not crazy. This is psychological trauma. Be as kind to yourself and your needs as you can. So much truth in your post. Having a normal response to an abnormal situation. That's something I was told when dealing with combat-related trauma. It would seem that the same sentiment carries over to this type of trauma as well. It's going to sound crazy, but D-Day was 3 years ago. Yeah man, I wasn't married to her, but it caused me 2 years of crippling depression and tons of other issues, which I'm convinced is what made me get an infection, and ultimately that caused me to get chronic fatigue syndrome. I did learn a very important lesson though: the only guarantee in life is yourself and the actions you take and the way you navigate the world and let it affect you. It's still extremely hard, but I will never let myself get that attached to someone again. I still, 6 years later, will get a random thought about a detail I had to know everything, and makes my stomach turn. What has your wife done to make amends? There are books to guide her into helping you recover. Has she done that? Has she gotten individual counseling? Have you? Did she beg for forgiveness? Did she quit her job? Did you out her boss to HR and his wife? EMDR therapy for this type of PTSD is also available. Did she take a polygraph test? Her recent actions are all the right ones. She did beg for forgiveness, but initially I actually begged her to stay. Just the memory of doing that makes me want to puke. She did not quit her job, but she transferred to a different site. No Polly, I just took her truth. This is something I hate about American culture. Americans determine who's a man based on how much they can bench press a certain number, higher the better, while they are a wreck inside, emotionally. I would say a real man should be strong mentally, emotionally, and spiritually rather than being strong physically. This will be hard to read, but I am certain she cheated more than once. Unless you want to live miserably like this, you have to accept that fact and confront her. BTW, what was his excuse for cheating? Was it because she was drunk or because she felt that she wasn't getting enough attention? If it was because she was drunk, she should have quitted drinking after D-Day, or some other drastic change had to be in her life, worse for her part, to show that she's committed. If she has not made any drastic change or seems like herself, you sir have to leave. I truly mean all of this out of commiseration, not from callousness. It's up to you to decide, sir. Hope you the best. Smile. I have been cheated on in every single relationship. I'm so damaged from it. I hope it gets better for you, but for me I haven't been able to get past it at all. You guys are lifesavers and you don't even know it. Tons of great advice was given here. I was in a really dark place and I thank everyone that reached out. I am in the National Guard, no longer active duty, and in my day job I work for the military. My travel is 50% to 75%, so I'm gone a lot. Being gone mixed with the isolation that has come with COVID has not been good for my mental health. I had just spent 2 weeks on the road. I was to be home for 2 weeks, then I was going to be gone for a multi-month long work trip. There was a lot of advice to leave, but I can honestly say that my wife is a different person now. At least her actions are different. My suffering has nothing to do with her recent actions and everything to do with her actions during the affair. I have developed some unhealthy coping mechanisms. It's almost to the point that I'm torturing myself, constantly reliving things and not allowing myself to move on. When my wife tries to help or asks me what's wrong, I lie and tell her everything is okay. Through advice given here, I think I understand why I do that. As the protector, I feel like my job is to protect her. Even if I'm protecting her from the shame and feelings that she is solely responsible for causing. I think that in the future I will try to not bear this load alone. I believe that she truly wants this marriage to work and that she is truly remorseful. I will begin telling her what is going on in my head. I'm not sure I can vocalize them, but I'll begin by writing her and letting her read what's happening. Again, thank you all for the advice and help. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.